What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, let's jump into more comments. I know these keep piling up, but we're going to keep rocking through them. So thank you so much to everybody who has joined the conversation or taken the time to leave a comment. I appreciate you more than you know. All right, starting here with Lapsus. This is from a video, the one about the war against bots being won. Lapsus here saying, I would be glad for a fresh start without bots, with less players and cheap cards, and start from the ashes again. Like a phoenix will rise. Sorry, those are my words. I mean, it's an interesting take, right? Because it's a bit of a reset for Splinterlands. And when you look at it from that perspective, I don't think that that's a terrible thing either. Now, I keep saying that there's a lot of baggage, obviously, within this community, within this project, because it's been around for a while and it's had its ups and downs. And clearly, we're trying to work through the downs at this point. But maybe we had to get here, right? So that when a new player comes in and checks out the game, and I remember making a video for this a while ago, essentially talking about like just the fact that the team is now combating bots. How many people, right? If you get 10 new people that come check out the game, wouldn't have stayed before, right? Versus would stay now to at least, maybe check it out further or put a little money in and try it out. Again, I'm not even talking about retention or how much investment. I'm just simply saying, like, how many people would have immediately come in, heard some talk about bots, and then would have just left, versus how many people would come in now and say, oh, here's a team that's actively fighting, the bot situation. That seems good, right? I like that. Now, maybe people will still be scared away from the bot conversation all in all, but with that being said, there's going to be some folks who come in, want to really see what's going on here. All right, so Power says, end of season was so anticlimactic. There's nothing to play for other than Glint, but nothing I want to spend it on. Yes, SPS per win, but they need to add something every season to shoot for. That'd be cool, but then I think that they would also need to extend the seasons. It'd be interesting to see, like, I would love if it was like a month-long season and then you had to work towards this like really premium, Soulbound reward card maybe, where you could buy the BCX directly, but it takes a lot. That could be kind of cool, but I don't know. That's something interesting. And actually, they would need to change the seasons. They would just need to make it so that it's only available for, maybe 2 to 3 seasons. Or actually, if you want to do it quarterly, just do it every 6 seasons, right? And make it so high that people have to choose what they want to go for. But I don't know. I kind of like that, giving more optionality. And you don't buy it, right? Yeah, you don't have to buy it. You just have to go and try to earn it. Okay, Jedi Elf says banning suppressing bots, which accounted for 90+% of active accounts, was always going to impact asset prices. But so long as we have bots or Battle Helper in Modern, the gameplay is impacted and tournaments brawls are not truly competitive. From the current position, we can now promote esports as it means something, and we can build up on real players, as opposed to the bots and manual ROI types. Allowing bots just moves the game forward. I agree. I hope so. We're not quite there yet. But I do hope that we'll be able to get to a point where we can push the esports side of it again, because that's the thing that I was most excited for. And then, of course, most disappointed for after the change last year. All right, I don't even know how to pronounce this name, but let's go ahead and jump in. Niaz, we're going to go with Niaz, sorry. I think it's time we organize a debate, a brainstorming session with the community and the team regarding the future of the project. There's always a solution. If the team lacks funds for development, marketing, etc., perhaps selling a portion of the company shares to investors who can drive it forward might be necessary. We can't afford to wait months or years for the next steps to be implemented, because soon we'll either wake up to offline servers or just handful enthusiasts left. What's interesting? Matt talked a little bit more about VCs and why he is not necessarily pro VC during the town hall. It wasn't one of my takeaways, but it was just interesting for him to share that insight, right? Because the incentive structures for VCs isn't great. They want to come in, obviously try to flip and make a lot of money, or force sell the project. So I don't know where, if Matt's thinking about that from VCs, I don't know how he feels about that with players, especially when, you got a lot of opinionated players out there already. Again, I'm not saying that I'd be against it. I'm all for conversation, but in a way, I'm okay for right now, because the project is still in such an adolescent stage. for the team, or specifically Matt, to be taking things by the reins, right? Like, we as the DAO, SPS DAO, can make decisions on what to do with the SPS rewards, but I think when we're leaving up too much up to the community, there ends up just being a lot of tug of war that ends up being non-productive. But I don't know, that could just be me. Eiffelbridge says, I also do not like the new reward system. I liked chest way more. Haven't been playing since the change. Oh, I hope you're coming back soon. All right, so Nicola said, you just need to wonder, are those numbers real? Someone from the team might switch bot button. Just saying. True. Well, I mean, the numbers are real in the sense we can see the active accounts. But yeah, we don't know who's running the bots. All right, so Radagaskar says, I think they focused on the wrong bots. Battle helpers and private bots make the game unapproachable for new players more than farms. I don't think that you're wrong on that. They definitely needed to curb the exploitative behavior of bot farms. But once they did, and I feel like they've been very effective in doing that, primarily through, the incentive structures, the shift should have been towards making the game not, anti-competitive. SS says, hoarding Glint is a good idea. I just need one Raven before I do. Cool. Rip Sumner says, proposal for the DAO to sell all assets and tokens, then buy SPS. The DAO stake that SPS if the team and community believes in this project, put their actions where their mouth is, because I am all in SPL. It's my only investment. You're an SPL maxi. Wow. Rip Sumner, you've been the one telling me about a bunch of other games, so it's interesting to see you coming back here as a maxi. Now, Matt has said, and again, he's not the CEO of the DAO, but he has said in the past that he doesn't think that the DAO should be holding primarily Splinterlands assets. That being said, I respectfully disagree with that, because what he's saying is that it shouldn't be holding Splinterlands assets. We should be holding other things so that, money can be pulled out. But at the same time, he also has this intention of the DAO selling whenever we get to a high point. So if things are low right now, we should, in my opinion, be buying, but again, right, to help support the token, to help support the fact that there's way too much SPS out there. And then also, would it not be in the best interest of the DAO to be buying SPS cheap if it's going to need to continue giving it out in the future? I'm all for buy low, sell high, right? Right now, I think, everybody's in line. Matt's been saying we'll sell when things get high, but we're not buying low, right? We're just printing money out of thin air and stuffing it in the DAO, which I guess works, right, for governments and for this project and for many other projects out there. But there should also be an element of, kind of investment in the future, and I don't disagree with you on that. All right, so Rift Summoner says the SPL team made the right moves and wrong moves, but overall they're on the right track now. Let's move on. Past is past. Time to focus on the future. Very cool. Elisio says, you mean the war against the players have been won, so everyone is leaving? Well, no, the players are just collateral damage. I don't think that it was a war on the players because the players actually pay money. All right, so Steve says, I don't have any idea how they could make the game work with bots. In the old system, you picked your level you wanted to be at and bought it to max rewards and took that out of the game after a few guys put it to the back of the game. It got dwarfed by the farms taking it out. I think bots proved that they abused the system, and when you look at the old rewards and card selling, this had to change. Yeah, again, I don't disagree with you. That video wasn't meant for me to be saying like, bots need to have a place in the game. I was just more so looking at the unintended consequences, because it's like everybody wanted to get rid of bots, and then we had the collapse of the game economy. And it's like, okay, so you got what you wanted, right? But now you're also saying you're going to leave because the economy collapsed and the tokens collapsed and the cards collapsed, right? So it's almost like, well, you got what you wanted. Now like shut up and stick with it, right? In a way, right? In a way, I'm just saying. So Vlogging says, if the forest is already rotten, it's better burn it and grow a new one. I think blaming botban for a game dying is like blaming cats for Black Death. Okay. I will see it until the end of the year, and then if SPS trades around a penny, I will likely start forgetting this game. I wouldn't buy any new packs or products within this project. Fair enough. Okay, Jedi Elf says, you are sounding very neutral on Splinterlands these days when there are a lot of exciting things happening this year. Things that might impact SPS before the end of the year. Okay, let's go through them. Trying to get me hyped. Jedi Elf, let's see. Number 1, mobile optimized play V1 being launched today. Again, this was from 10 days ago. So this massively opens up the market for the game, as most people don't have computers. All right, 2, NPE won't happen overnight. It'll be a process. Number 3, when people see the improvements happening, they may want to front run the marketing push. 4, Binance listing news and hype. The closer we get to this being a reality, the more SPS could drive upwards. And then 5, maybe some players might start being more active in hyping up the new exciting things happening in SPL over the next year. Again, I don't think any of those are wrong. I also don't think that being neutral is the worst thing either. Again, if you're trying to get at something with me being neutral, I'm just being cautiously optimistic. I'm not negative. I'm not selling, right? But I'm also not buying, and I'm also trying to recognize that, like, again, for me, from a gaming perspective, I'm not going to go in and spend another $6,000 on Rebellion right now. I'm very happy with the deck that I'm playing with. And then on the investment side, even though this is a gaming channel, so not financial advice, but on the investing side, I think the returns in Q1 or lack thereof, right, the negative returns kind of show where the project is at now and where it is and where it may be going in the near future. Now, my thesis, as I've said before, and this is based on the team's kind of rhetoric and game plan, is yes, there are very exciting things happening, and I am very much looking forward to it. But my time frame is not 3 to 6 months for things to really start to pick up. My time frame is from 6 to 12, 6 to 18 months, right? Because they're very much still in build mode. Whereas you have a lot of other projects out there that were building during the bear and are now in marketing, partnership, collaboration mode, and those tokens are going up. So if that's what you're trying to get at, I'm not bearish on Splinterlands by any means. If anything, the last couple of town halls have made me very, very confident in where things are going. It's just a time preference, right? Having a lower time preference with this and willing to wait it out another 18 months to see where things go. But in the short term, I'm not allocating capital here. And when other people talk about that, I'm not going to sit here and try to disagree with them, right? Like when a lot of people are like, oh, there's other tokens going up, I'm going to go make money there. It's like, yeah, go. I mean, hey, go do you, right? I'm doing me, but that's completely separate from what's happening here. Now, granted, I'm already exposed to Splinterlands. I already have a good bag of SPS. I already have a good bag of cards or whatever you want to call it, right? Or just assets within the game. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not in a position where I'm like, oh, I need to go all in right now. Let me back up the truck. No, because, again, I agree with some of the other folks out there who are saying that there's other opportunities elsewhere. And that's where I'm kind of deploying capital. Again, not financial advice. That being said, once we get to another interesting place and these things, as you said, start picking up, I don't think it's going to be overnight. SPS is not going to go from 1.3 cents to 5 cents in a day. We will start to see momentum. And then at that point, sure, did I miss the bottom? Absolutely. But I'm also, I also don't need to hit the bottom in order to have my ear to the ground and take advantage of whatever kind of run we might go on. Okay, Bronze Dragon says, personally, a couple of years ago, I couldn't wait to log into the game and figure out what the cards, land, etc. spend my money on. At this point, with all the changes that have been implemented to combat bots, I'm currently finding it hard to justify expenditure to the Splinterlands economy, even though low prices are very tempting. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. It's crazy that it only takes it's like a couple $100 for me to max my Chaos Legion deck, but I just don't want to do it because I'm able to play without some of those cards, so we'll see. All right, how are we doing on time? All right, I will have to wrap up soon, so this is not going to be one of those super long videos. Let's go ahead and do a couple more here. Okay, so Phoenix says, Splinterlands have avoided the bot complaints on numerous occasions before the DAO voted to ban bots. In theory, it's a good idea, but the vocal majority couldn't look past the idea that bots were a complete negative and failed to consider the fact that chances of actually eliminating bots is very low. Some simple reasons why the bot ban hasn't worked out. Before the bots dumped, bots were bolstering the economy. Bot ban policy just forced bots underground. Implementing the policy, technology, and constantly policing. Match liquidity is weak, causing the team to spin up their own non-earning bots, and then the downward spiral since the bot ban has caused endless unrest in the community. It's actually surprising we haven't seen a DAO proposal to remove the bot ban yet. one of the biggest problems with bots was how it made for bad NPE. Well, again, the bot problem is twofold, right? There's bot farms and then there's anti-competitive behavior. I don't think you're ever going to be able to convince people, including myself, about why, like that the game should allow anti-competitive behavior. So when people latched on to do just something about the bots, it was going to be the bot farms, because the battle helper situation was much more difficult. Now, Siler's joined the team. We'll see what happens. Again, this is not a commentary on his ability or anybody on the team's ability, but I had Siler on this channel, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and he said literally like it is impossible to stop battle helper. So, and again, I have nothing against Siler, but it's fascinating to me now that he's getting paid to stop battle helpers, even though he's on record in the past saying that it's impossible. That being said, I'm not trying to throw shade at Siler or the team at all. I, in fact, applaud their I applaud their efforts to try and take a stronger stance on this. And I wish Siler all the best in terms of being able to not only navigate the space, but be able to correctly identify and discourage that kind of behavior. So again, I don't know where it goes, but we're still in the beginning part of this, and we'll have to wait and see if it ends up being effective. Okay, Mark says, I definitely live in a dream world. This was on the War on Bots video. I don't know, man. The numbers speak for themselves. That's not a dream. We went from 500,000 players, our daily active accounts, to way less than that. I think we're at about 20,000 right now. So dream or not, the numbers are real. All right, so Ardenex says, as a gamer, not an investor, I had no problems with bots in rank play. It was the battle helpers I had a problem with. The battle helpers killed the competitive spirit of the game. We do need bots for battle matching in 5 seconds instead of 3 minutes, but I'm not qualified to speak on reward extraction. That's beyond my comprehension. I haven't done studies or research on that. Now, what's interesting, I usually don't go into the secondary comments here, but I just saw this. Mr. Matrix Zion saying, you do realize that bot is an automated battle helper. So having no problems with bots, but then having a problem with someone using information that a bot automatically uses sounds crazy. I mean, I agree with that, Mr. Matrix. So the thing is, a lot of the bots tend to punch above their weight because these are going to be very lean investments, right? What is this least amount that I can spend to get the most amount of reward? And then how do I scale that up? It's very rare that you're going to get a bunch of maxed copy or, maxed copy and maxed collection bots, simply because in a bot farm, I should say, simply because it's so inefficient. Right now, there's level 1 cards getting all the way to champion and extracting rewards. So why would you ever do that in terms of getting, wasting all that capital, when instead of putting it all in one account, you could put it across multiple accounts, multiple SPS, and just, farm your way to the top. So, I mean, people who weren't against bots, it's because the kind of like perspective that they had, including Ardenek here, and I'm not saying it's bad, right? But like there was a lot of flawed reasoning too, where it's just like, oh, if you can't beat a bot, then you probably suck at the game. And it's like, well, okay, fine. If you're talking about like underpowered bots that are punching above their weight, then yeah, absolutely, right? If I'm losing to level, lower level cards, then that's a skill issue on me. But if the bots do have their, for whatever reason, if they are maxed for whatever level and you're playing at that level, then you're kind of going up against, IBM Watson or AI, whatever it is, like somebody that can put together the perfect teams on average. But yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and close out here. Man, I did not cover much ground, but we'll try to get to more of these over the weekend. So Vivo Sky says, I think the bot is not a problem. Bringing in players is the real problem. Splinterlands is almost 6 years old. Would be near its peak. Otherwise, it will be a failure. Well, you're not wrong. You'd hope that 6 years after the launch of something, it would be in a better position than it was 3 years ago. But this is crypto, right? So everything goes in cycles. I'll say this. I don't know when the boom happened in 2021, but if we're just looking at that like 3-year time frame, I would argue that there's more real players today than there were back then. There's probably even more active accounts, 20,000 versus I think used to be, somebody said there's like 5,000 to 8,000 active accounts before everything in 2021 took off. So in that way, again, we're kind of cherry picking our timelines here, but in that way, we are doing better than we were at this point in the cycle. And actually, instead of it being 3 years, you'd have to go back to like, where was the game in May of 2020, right? Like, or April of 2020 when the Bitcoin halving happened. I think it was in May of 2020. But either way, and then compare it there. And if we are further ahead at this point in time, then, you can take that as a win. Now, does that mean in the raging, hopefully, bull market of 2025, second half or fall of 2025, are we going to be better than we were in the fall of 2021? I don't know. It's hard to say whether this can signal it properly. But, at the end of the day, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to like low time preference. I don't expect much in terms of like this summer or fall. I hope that Q4 can be exciting again. And we'll see what 2025 brings as long as, the world doesn't end or something crazy happens. All right, guys, that is all I have for you in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Feel free to leave your comments, and I will try to get to them as quickly as possible. I do try to get to all comments. I don't think I've missed anything really, but at least to acknowledge them, if not answer them in a little bit more detail. But have an amazing rest of your day, night, or weekend, whatever time you watch this, and I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.